We just didn't do a total gut the house, replace everything. We've tried to work with what we had here, and then as we've, over the years, as we needed to replace things, we've tried to make them more sustainable. Some of the things you'll see in the house are still some non-sustainable items that was giving a bit of an idea about how they might work with new ideas as well. One of those would be things like the lighting. One part of the house has still got the old halogen lighting, and we've got meters to just show the difference between the power usage on those. And in these areas we've got LED lighting. We haven't put a grey water system and things like that because we don't actually use a lot of water except for the garden. So we're capturing a lot of rainwater. We have enough for watering the small gardens that we have here. And we have a 1.5 kilowatt system on the roof for solar energy. But while we're in this room, we had to provide a small kitchenette because we're not a functioning house. We didn't have to do a big kitchen. So we retrofitted storage, cupboard space. So because we don't have a large house, we can put a small fridge in. And some of the small little features to do is make sure you always ventilate. So we've got a vent under the fridge to get that heat out. And this little idea is a concept that you can extrapolate for a big fridge. But basically, in winter, you can let that heat come back into the room to utilise waste energy back into the house. But then in summer, you can close that down. This is all closed up. Basically, the air's going out, and then we let the air flow up through a vent that goes out through the roof or into the roof space. You can have it ducted, depending on, you can take it out through the roof if you want. And then you can put little vents to just close it off so you don't lose too much hot air in winter. But the other idea is, again, the old root store idea, like the cellar, having cool air come in from the subfloor. We've got vents underneath the floor here that come in and bring cool air in and go through so this can reduce the size of your fridge by having potatoes, carrots, things that don't necessarily need to go into the refrigerator, but can go in here. And again, that cool air can flow up and through vents and out through the ceiling. So just trying to reduce the size of your fridge, because in a house, the refrigerator is one of the big users. If you don't have air conditioning, your refrigerator is your big item. This is hoop pine plywood. I like this product. They use, and you can get a lot. There's some that use glues that aren't so great, but you can source one that has better glues and use a low volatile compound on what they call low VOC material finishes for the finished surface. This can be a great use of materials because the idea is that it uses a rotary peeling of the log when they manufacture it, and then you can actually reuse the material too at the end of its life, so it's sort of got an ongoing good reuse capability. Because a lot of materials these days are made out of like composite boards like melamine's on MDF, and generally when they've ended their use they get thrown out onto landfill and go to scrap.
You're talking about ventilation into the roof space. Do you make any use of the ventilation within the cavity?
At the roof in here?
Yeah.
We haven't at the moment, but what we have got is we have a solar heater around the corner here. Just come around, you want to just move back here. We have a solar air dryer, and I'm not sure it's turned on at the moment, but there's a little explanation here, but we have a little fan, and it's like a big box up on the roof. It heats the air, and then the air has got a little solar motor that drives it down and pushes warm air into the room.
Oh, really?
So it uses the concept of a glass panel with a black box, the basic principle, and then that air is pushed down into the room. So we're using that, but you can use strategies of taking the hot air from the roof space and little pumps to pump it down low. Try and put your lighting. Lighting's a big use of power in the home. Put task lighting over benches. When we built this, LED lighting was still quite new. I think it's over 6-7 years now. We put a low cost, fluorescent tube, and that's just over the bench. A lot of homes do a lot of overhead sort of LED halogen, the old halogen lights. These are LED lights. So yeah, just turn those on. So these are really good. These are like the next generation of lights now. These are great LEDs, but it takes a lot of energy to get that light source down onto a bench, so it's better to light directly from here when you've got task-orientated things like offices, where you're writing, where you're working surface, and then you don't really have to turn on a lot of the overhead lighting. It works directly from here. So we try and do a lot of that in design as well, thinking about those things, but then having them on a separate switch so you can turn the lights on if you need general lighting in the room. Use of recycled glass tiles in the splashback here, so idea of reusing materials, having a second life. As we walk through, if you go through the hallway here, you'll notice lit from above, and these solar tubes which we introduced as well, because these homes get quite dark in the centre, so they're very effective during the day. This window, we replaced elements. This window is not working as well as what we'd like to. We had to deal with the fact that we're classified as a showroom under like a building regulation, so we weren't allowed to have open windows here. So it would have been nice to have some operable windows that can because of fire regulations, they have to be closed off. So, and there's a few features haven't been built. We haven't built this is north facing. So this time of year it's really nice, you see we're getting light into the room, but in summer we do get a little bit of heat energy coming into the room, so we should really have a little awning on it. But it's nice this time of the year, you can see the warmth coming from the windows. So when we did this, we did an example of double glazing in here. So this is double glazed, and then we've got different ways of dealing with how you could do this in a retrofit on rental homes. This is a material that has a reflective back surface. You can see that silver.
Oh yeah.
It's a company that makes it, and then the sun hits that and can bounce a lot of that heat back out through the room. That's energy that's coming in, and so we've just done it in different ways of how you can do it as a fly. It doubles as a fly screen as well as a heat reflector. Between the two different rooms, you'll notice different floor treatment. In this room is an old polyurethane finish that is like a high VOC off-gassing material that they use, very hard wearing, and so it's a fossil fuel sort of derived finish. It's made from petrochemical products basically. I think we should be really using more sustainably grown sort of finishes, come from a more plant-based. So the one that we've used in that is come from like a nut finish, more like your tongue oils and things like that. That's a German product we've used in there. Livos make a finish, and the beauty of that one in there is that you don't need to sand between coats. You can just recoat it. It generally needs to be recoated more. This might take, every maybe 6 years you need to recoat. Maybe that one every year or two you need to recoat, depending on how much. But you can just mop that one on. This one needs to be sanded between coats, so more energy intensive. Over the life of the product, I think this one in there would actually be a lot easier to use, because every time you sand this floor, you're reducing the thickness of the material. So you've got to be. Some floors only allow 1 or 2 sands, especially the new timber floors. They've only got like a 5mm thickness of timber on a veneer. So you've got to be careful of those sorts of things. Just a few little features we've added here. Gone for the old idea of the pelmeted curtains. The idea is to try and have either the curtains going from floor to ceiling and no gaps, so that air can't sort of circulate behind those curtains. To actually, basically that cold air keeps replacing in the room and the warm air is flowing in, and so you're reducing the efficiency of your heating in your room. So other little tricks you can do with the curtains is you can put, I don't think we've put it on these yet, but you can actually put Velcro down the sides of the curtains and stick it against the wall to reduce that air flowing through the sides. Yeah, little things like that. You can put snakes, you can actually have Velcro and then Velcro snakes to keep them weighted down to the floor. They're all little important little features to make sure you reduce that airflow in the actual house. One's using 50 watts of energy and the other one's using only 7 watts, but you can see the effective light. You've got a little bit of light drop off on this one, but you can see basically corresponding. Here we've got the effigy meters. The one on the left here shows the energy current usage of the house and what we've got turned on. On the right here is what we're actually producing from the house. At the moment, before the lights were on, we were 0.06. As it updates, it's gone up to 0.16. And at the moment, we're producing 1.49. So we're producing more than we're using. And this is not a hugely intensive energy usage house. So, and that was using the halogen. So we'll 0.16. We use it, putting on the LEDs for a similar size room. We'll just watch, it went up 0.03. So yeah, there's a big difference in the amount of usage. If you accumulate that over a year, it can make a big difference in a home.